Sometimes, one video can change everything. It can end friendships, rewrite truths, and leave a silence that echoes louder than any words ever could. This was that video. And if you think you've seen drama before, you're not ready for what Miles Wei uncovered. The truth that unraveled before his eyes would shake not just him, but the entire C-drama world to its core. Before you scroll away, take this as a warning and an invitation, because what you're about to read will change how you see Dylan Wang, Bai Lu, and Shen Yue forever. This isn't just another scandal, it's the kind of story that makes you question who you can really trust in a world built on fame and performance. Watch, listen, and stay until the end, because the last scene will leave you frozen. It began with a message. Miles Wei wasn't supposed to find it. No one was. The video had been saved under a random folder on a shared drive meant for cast rehearsals and behind-the-scenes clips. But late one night, as he searched for a missing script file, he clicked on something he didn't recognize. The screen flickered once, then again, before playing a video that would change everything. The footage started harmlessly enough, a quiet rehearsal room, dim lights, the faint sound of a clock ticking in the background. Bai Lu sat at the corner of the set, wearing the same costume she had worn the day before, her eyes distant and lost. Dylan Wang was pacing, phone in hand, whispering something that the mic barely picked up. And Shen Yue stood near the doorway, her expression unreadable. At first, it felt like just another behind-the-scenes recording. But then Bai Lu spoke. Her voice cracked as she said Dylan's name, barely above a whisper, yet heavy enough to cut through the silence. She asked him a question that would later haunt every viewer who saw the leaked clip. Was it ever real? Dylan froze. His phone slipped from his hand. The sound of it hitting the floor echoed across the room. Miles watched, replaying that moment over and over again later that night, as if trying to decode the weight of those 4 words. Was it ever real? What did she mean? Shen Yue took a step forward, her hand trembling as she picked up Dylan's phone. On the screen, a message was still open, one that wasn't meant to be seen. It was a message from Bai Lu herself, sent months earlier, unsent and recovered through a backup. Her confession was raw, painful, and filled with words that had never been said aloud. She had written about everything she felt, everything she had hidden, and everything she wished Dylan had understood. Miles paused the video at that moment, his heart pounding. He leaned back in his chair, staring at the frozen frame of Shen Yue holding that phone, her expression shifting between heartbreak and fury. He didn't know what to think. Were they acting, rehearsing a scene that had never aired, or was this something far deeper, something real? He clicked play again. Shen Yue began to read the message. Her voice trembled, breaking as she reached the final line. I wish you hadn't made me believe in something that was never yours to give. Bai Lu couldn't look at her. She stood up, her hands shaking, tears running silently down her face. Dylan tried to say something, but his voice failed him. The silence that followed was unbearable, and even through the screen, Miles could feel it, the weight of years of unspoken words collapsing all at once. The video cut abruptly, replaced by static. But just before it ended, there was one more image. The camera, now tilted, caught a reflection in the mirror behind them. Miles saw himself, in a way. A reflection of every person who had ever believed a lie just because it was easier than facing the truth. He sat there, staring at the blank screen long after the video ended. For days, he couldn't speak of it. But the images replayed in his mind, scene by scene, word by word. Every expression, every pause, every glance between them carried meanings that the camera hadn't intended to capture. And then, everything changed. The clip leaked. No one knew how, but someone uploaded it online under the title The Last Take. Within hours, the internet exploded. Fans were torn apart, some said it was just an unreleased scene, others swore it was a real confrontation caught by accident. The hashtags trended non-stop. Dylan Wang deleted his social media posts. Bai Lu vanished from the public eye for days. Shen Yue went silent, her team releasing nothing but a cryptic one-line statement, some truths were never meant to be filmed. Miles Wei didn't say a word publicly. But privately, he couldn't shake what he had seen. That raw pain. That silence. That final unanswered question. Weeks later, during a press conference, a reporter asked him about the video. The entire room went still. Cameras clicked, microphones pointed toward him. Miles hesitated, eyes lowering for a moment, then he said quietly, "Sometimes, we act with our hearts instead of our scripts. And sometimes, the camera captures what we never meant to show." It was the only comment he ever made. But it was enough. Behind the scenes, those who knew the truth said it wasn't just a moment of acting. It was real. The emotion, the tears, the silence, all of it came from something deeper, something unresolved between the three of them. The more Miles thought about it, the more he realized that video wasn't just an accident. It was a confession, not in words, but in emotions, captured forever by a lens that never forgot. He tried to move on, but every time he closed his eyes, he saw that room. The dim light. The question that lingered in the air. Was it ever real? In the end, the truth wasn't found in the dialogue, but in the silence that followed. It was in the look Dylan gave before the cut. The tremble in Bai Lu's voice. The tears Shen Yue wiped away when she thought no one was watching. The video that ended everything didn't end a story, it revealed it. It showed what fame tries to hide, what cameras accidentally expose, and what hearts can no longer pretend to forget. And maybe that's why it broke everyone who saw it. Because for once, the performance was real. The night was colder than usual, yet the silence carried a kind of weight that could crush the heart. Miles Wei sat in his car, the screen before him glowing faintly, showing fragments of the same video that had already set the entire internet on fire. But this time, what he was about to watch wasn't just what the world had seen. It was the uncut version. The truth behind the truth. He pressed play, and the first frame froze him. Bai Lu's voice echoed, trembling yet filled with pain. "I didn't mean to hurt anyone," she whispered, her face pale under the dim light. "But Dylan never told you, did he?" Miles's heartbeat quickened. He leaned closer, every breath heavy, every second stretching into eternity. Then Dylan's voice came in, lower, more broken than anyone had ever heard. "It wasn't supposed to happen this way. Shen Yue was never supposed to find out." The camera shifted, revealing Shen Yue standing by the door, her expression unreadable. Her eyes shimmered with the kind of sorrow that words couldn't hold. "You both lied to me," she said, her voice soft, trembling, as if her entire world had cracked right before her eyes. Miles froze. The truth was unraveling in ways that none of them had imagined. The video continued. Bai Lu took a step toward Shen Yue, tears rolling down her cheeks. "I tried to tell you, but he said he'd handle it. He said you'd never believe me." Dylan's head dropped, his voice cracking. "I loved you both in different ways, and that was my mistake. I thought I could protect you from the truth." Miles couldn't breathe. He paused the video and looked out the window, where city lights flickered like broken stars. This wasn't just a scandal. This was a collapse. The kind that destroyed everything in its path: friendships, love, trust, even their careers. He hit play again. The next moment sent shivers down his spine. Shen Yue took a deep breath, her voice now steady, almost calm. "You didn't just betray me, Dylan. You betrayed everything we built together. Every moment, every scene, every secret we shared, it was all built on lies." Then the video cut abruptly to a new angle. A behind-the-scenes clip. The three of them were sitting in the studio after filming, their faces tired, their laughter sounding hollow. But beneath it, something darker lingered, the tension that no one dared to speak about. Bai Lu looked at Dylan and said softly, "You think people won't find out, but truth has a way of leaking through silence." Those words echoed through Miles's mind like a curse. He realized that Bai Lu had recorded everything, not out of revenge, but out of fear that one day, someone would twist the story against her. And now, that recording had done exactly that. The video ended with a single frame, Bai Lu staring into the camera, her lips trembling as she said, "If you're watching this, it means everything's over." Miles closed his laptop and leaned back, the world outside blurring. The secrets, the lies, the heartbreak, it had all come full circle. He now understood why Dylan had disappeared for weeks, why Shen Yue had avoided every press event, and why Bai Lu had gone silent online. They weren't just actors anymore. They were people trapped in their own story, one they could never rewrite. Then Miles received a message. It was from an unknown number. Just one line. "You weren't supposed to see that video." His chest tightened. He looked up, realizing that someone else was pulling the strings. The leak hadn't been accidental. It was deliberate. Someone wanted everything destroyed. The next morning, the headlines were everywhere. The video that ended everything, Dylan Wang, Bai Lu, and Shen Yue's secret exposed. Fans were divided. Some defended them, some cursed them, others demanded answers. But the truth was gone. It was no longer in their hands. And as the world argued, Miles sat quietly by the window, watching the sun rise over a city that had already turned against them. He whispered to himself, they were all victims of the same lie. It wasn't about fame anymore. It wasn't about love. It was about survival. The video had ended everything, but maybe, just maybe, it also revealed what was real beneath the glitter of their world. For Dylan, it was regret. For Bai Lu, redemption. For Shen Yue, release. And for Miles Wei, the painful truth, that sometimes, the only way to move forward is to destroy everything that once held you back. He took a deep breath, closed his laptop, and whispered the final words to himself, maybe this is how the story was meant to end. If this story left you speechless, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next shocking twist. Leave a comment below, who do you think leaked the video, and why? Let's uncover the truth together.